Hello and welcome. I hope that you are having a fantastic day. We're going to talk about Bitcoin news today. Is Bitcoin about to go parabolic? A lot of people are beginning to think so. We've seen some really positive signs, but time will tell. Let's take a look at the news. We're going to cover three different articles. The first one is Bitcoin targets $10,000 retest as China-US tensions spoil risk sentiment. Bitcoin, the second article is Bitcoin isn't even in a macro bull market yet. Here's why one is imminent. The third article is Bitcoin 896-day accumulation will now spark a $100,000 bull run, according to an analyst. So all of this is extremely bullish news. If you look around the market at today's and at current cryptocurrency news, people are getting more and more bullish now that the Bitcoin halving has happened. The expectations of seeing another parabolic run is increasing. And as sentiment and even fundamentals lean more and more towards another bull run because of the halving, it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy. As people expect it to happen, the likelihood of it happening goes up and actually increases. So let's take a look at this in detail. Should I buy Bitcoin now or should I wait? We're going to give you ideas to help you take profits and avoid losses. Can we get this video to 99 likes? If you smash the like button, it really does help us out. Help us out by smashing the like button. We could really use the help. And what happens is YouTube sees that you like a video, and so they have a tendency to promote it more. And so it just helps more people to find out about our channel. So here's our disclaimer. I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This is my opinion. Cryptocurrency involves substantial risk of loss. And so you want to take a look at this disclaimer and understand the risk that you're taking whenever you invest in cryptocurrency. Unlike most assets, cryptocurrencies are the most volatile assets that I know of. But let's take a look at some of the historical data regarding cryptocurrencies. If you invested $1,000 in Bitcoin and held on to it for 3 years and then sold it 3 years later, what would happen to you? If you bought Bitcoin on January 1, 2017 and then sold it on December 31st, 2019, your $1,000 Bitcoin would have sold for $7,206. And as you can see by these other numbers, the dollar amount is significant for just a 3-year period. Now, the whole point of this is if you hold on to Bitcoin or if you purchase Bitcoin, think in terms of holding on to it for 3 years or longer, because that's often what it takes to make some significant money from it. Let's take a look at the current market. Wow, a moment ago, this was in the green. We just had in the last 20 minutes or an hour a little bit of a dip because it was up above $9,400. And so that small $40 drop in price has put us back in the red. As you can see, the cryptocurrency market is a smattering of greens and reds. And right now it is 7:05 Central Standard Time on May 29th, 2020. So that first article I mentioned, Bitcoin targets $10,000 retest as China-US tensions spoil risk sentiment. Bitcoin jumped above 9,500 in midday Thursday trading. The gain sustained on safe haven bids Friday as tensions between the US and China escalated further. Beijing moved ahead with its plan to impose a new national security law in Hong Kong, prompting President Donald Trump to hold a press conference on Friday. That would be May 29th, 2020, or today. So is a $10,000 retest imminent? Bitcoin's latest upside move raised its possibility of retesting $10,000 as its next upside target. So with it currently trading in the 9,368 range, it was, like I said, it was at 9,400 and 9,500 during the last hour or so. So it could always turn around and head right back to the 10,000. Time will tell. There was some more stuff in here. All right, depending on what Trump says in his press conference on Friday, leaves both Bitcoin and gold in a conflicted bias area. In the Bitcoin market particularly, traders could profit and take the latest rally. The move could lead the cryptocurrency to lower below 9,500. Meanwhile, if Trump decides to move forward with its proposal to remove Hong Kong's special trade status, or, for worse, impose sanctions against China, then it could prompt Bitcoin bulls to retarget $10,000 over the weekend session. Now, while this author really thinks that Trump's opinion is going to significantly sway the price of Bitcoin, I'm not convinced of that. Whether or not Trump imposes big sanctions against China or does little or nothing, I'm not. It may have it. It may have an impact on Bitcoin, but I'm not convinced that it will have a big impact on Bitcoin. But we'll know by Monday, since that is a weekend prediction. Now, Bitcoin isn't even in a macro bull market yet. Here's why one is imminent. Bitcoin has performed extremely well since the $3,700 lows. Data from TradingView suggests that from the lows, the cryptocurrency is up just over 150%. And so for Bitcoin to be up over 150% since the March low, I think it was March 12th low, that's pretty significant in such a short period of time. There is no other assets that have recovered so dramatically since the pandemic caused all of the different stock markets to tank. And so that is a significant thing to take notice of. This price action has been undoubtedly oppressive, rallying 150%. Bitcoin managed to outperform any other $100 billion plus asset over the same time frame. So not only is it significant about any other $100 plus billion dollar asset. Now, I haven't done any research on what I'm about to say, but to the best of my knowledge, out of all assets out there that are available, 150% gain in the last, 2.5 months? That's dramatic. And there's very, very few assets, whether they're 100 plus billion or not, that have achieved that strong of growth in that short a period of time. And so when we look at the Bitcoin price charts, we may think, oh, this has been going sideways. The reality is it actually has had a pretty significant pump, a pretty significant increase since the pandemic has begun. And I believe that increase is just the beginning of a new parabolic run, but that's not financial advice. That's just my opinion. Though this move hasn't convinced analysts that Bitcoin is decisively in a bull market. And that I have to agree with that. To a large degree, it has been trading sideways and it hasn't shown the strength I would anticipate seeing in a full-blown bull market. But I still believe that one is on its way. As Plan B's charts indicates, the indicator being below 60 means that bulls are not yet in control. Bitcoin RSI bounced off the 60 region multiple times in the 2,000 plus bull market in 2017, suggesting it has some importance now. And so the RSI, which is the relative strength indicator, previously during the all-time high where Bitcoin reached $20,000, it had been bouncing off of that 60, the RSI value of 60 multiple times. In fact, if you look at this chart here, this purple line is right at that 60% mark, and you can see this is the $20,000 high, and you can see as Bitcoin was reaching that $20,000 high, it was bouncing above that 60 mark quite a bit. And so we haven't seen it in the 60 mark. This is back last year, 2019, when Bitcoin went from about 3,000 all the way up to 14,000, and then since it has kind of dropped down. So last year we popped up and held above 60, but so far this year we haven't broken above the 60 RSI. And the relative strength indicator tells you how strong a trend is, whether the trend is, if it's above 60, it means that it's a strong growth trend. And if it's below 40, it means that it's a strong decline trend or a strong negative trend. So a full-blown bull run is near, according to this analyst. There is growing, and here's his reasons why he believes that there's a full-blown bull run in the near future. There's growing geopolitical distresses like tension between the U.S. and China over Hong Kong democracy. Plus, global central banks continue to print trillions to save the flagging economy. Flagging economy? I'm not sure how to that word. Negative rates continue to trend lower, and Bitcoin is slowly becoming a payment system. And so these are some of the arguments why we could be seeing a full-blown bull run in the near future. And I could give you a handful of others in addition to that, but for now, that's pretty good. This capitulation is almost identical to the 2012-2016 halving capitulations, all within 21 days of the halving. This is a massive bull flag. The rallies from the hash ribbon buy were almost vertical. And so, really, ultimately, he's saying that what's happening right now is almost identical to what happened in the 2012 halvening and what happened in the 2016 halvening. Both of these halvenings resulted in dramatic bull runs where here Bitcoin, in 2016, Bitcoin started a bull run where it accumulated a new all-time high of 20,000. And in 2012, if I recall correctly, I think the all-time high back then was around $1,000. But it was a significant bull run because it went from, what was that number? I believe it was around $10. I'd actually have to go back and look because I don't recall. But it was a very significant bull run where they were seeing somewhere around 100 times, 10 times their money or 100 times their money in terms of the actual gain. And so that's always significant. And then finally, the last thing in the news that we're going to cover today is Bitcoin 896-day accumulation will now spark a $100,000 bull run, according to this analyst. And so what they're saying is the last 2.5 years, almost 3 years, cryptocurrency hit that $20,000 high. It dropped way down from the $20,000 price point, and then people have been buying and holding Bitcoin ever since. And so that's really what he's talking about when he says an 896-day accumulation. And when you look at the numbers, that actually holds out true. You'll see that over 60% of the Bitcoin in existence has not moved out of an address in over 1 year. And so people are buying Bitcoin, putting it into an address, and just holding on to it. And so that is always a good strategy with Bitcoin, is to think in terms of holding on to it for 2 or 3 years at a time. Bitcoin BTC has spent almost 900 days correcting from its $20,000 all-time highs, but its trip to $100,000 is about to start. So this guy's opinion is he thinks Bitcoin is going to go up dramatically. I have a similar opinion, and I think we're going to see some brand new all-time highs that dramatically break the previous $20,000 price point. According to an accompanying chart, the time since December 2017 has been one massive accumulation phase, during which investors repositioned themselves and bought in. This consolidation structure, as Positive Crypto calls it, is now ripe for disintegration to give way to a new bull run which will obliterate the $20,000 zone. The last 896 days were simply one massive reaccumulation phase before the run-up to the $100,000 Bitcoin. and the consolidation structure will soon be broken. Are you prepared? Are holders really preparing for $100,000? As Cointelegraph reported, various analysts are now convinced that after this month's block subsidying halving, a bullish trend will kick in for Bitcoin within the next 1 or 2 years at most. Perhaps most daringly, Plan B's stock-to-flow predicts a $288,000 price tag by 2024, with all-time highs easily being 2 times that, or $576,000 per Bitcoin. So let that sink in for a second. An all-time high of $576,000 per Bitcoin, and then the price fluctuating in the $288,000 range just before and just after that all-time high. Network indicators are also providing food for thought. 60% of Bitcoin supply, for example, has not moved in a year or more, a trend which has stayed the same for 5 months despite wildly varied price performance. And so people meaning whales, large investors, and a whole lot of retail investors have bought Bitcoin, and they're just simply holding on to it. I mean, they haven't moved it. They haven't moved it out of those addresses in the last year, and that's quite a long time. All they're doing is just adding more and more and more Bitcoin to their addresses as other people are selling it off. And so that's what I have for you in the news today. Obviously, I have a tendency to think that Bitcoin has got a very, very bright future. That's one of the reasons why I do this channel, because I'm convinced that in the near future, we're going to see some tremendous increases in the price. But again, that's not financial advice. That's just my opinion. How can I be of service to you? Do you have any thoughts, questions? Is there anything that you'd love to discuss? I'm very interested in hearing your polite disagreements. Look, you know things I don't know. I know things you don't know. And when we share what we know together, we're going to grow smarter. I want to grow smarter together with you. So I hope that you will share your comments and thoughts and your polite disagreements in the YouTube comments below. In the meantime, I hope that you'll like, subscribe, and hodl. And do me a favor. Have a fantastic day.